Hey guys, I'm Jordy, and I often get this question when I'm raiding. How do you get those awesome alerts to use your cooldowns? Well, you're in luck. This video is going to go over just that and all the things that you'll need to consider as you set it up yourself. We'll also guide you to a pre-made list of cooldowns that we've created that should mostly work out of the box for tier 11, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so the Fojji Raid Assignments WeakAuras, which you can get from Fojji's Discord, link below, requires the raid leader and all of your raiders to run it. Everyone also needs the raid packs for each raid that you want to use the assignments for, so make sure all of your guys are running those as well. However, only the raid leader needs to set this up ahead of time, so you don't have to fiddle with everyone's individual WeakAuras unless you want to, which we can talk about at the end. Lastly, everyone needs the Fojji Core add-on, a simple grab from WoWup or CurseForge. We've also linked that. Alright, so let's get into setting this up. First, as the raid leader, you're going to make sure you've imported it correctly. Then you're going to open the WeakAuras here and navigate to the Raid Leader Assignments Sender subheading. This is the hub from which you'll adjust everything. First, you've got Active Profile at the top. This is the current one you're using in your raid. Then this box selects which of the profiles you're going to be working on, in this case, Profile 1. One way we like to name it is based off of your healer comp because they're the majority of your raid cooldowns. We'll describe this one, let's say 2 Holy Paladins, 1 Disc, 1 Resto Druid, 1 Resto Shaman. Maybe Profile 2, you remove a Holy Paladin and add a Shaman. You can denote that there so you know which profile is set up for which comp. Okay, so that's set up. Now we'll start to go into each boss mechanic that we want cooldowns for. Some of these we're just going to ignore because maybe we decide we don't actually want a cooldown or a note there, but some we definitely do, like let's say Valiona's Blackout. So we click this drop down and out pops this menu showing count, player, cooldown, and time. First, let's talk about player. We have this labeled as Disc 1, which will be your first Disc Priest. We also have Arsham 1, Arms 1, and there are others for other cooldowns. Let's put this cooldown on hold and scroll down here where we'll first go through each of these class dropdowns and see how each class assignment is associated with one of your raiders' names. You'll need to go through these and make sure the names match up with who's on your roster, because if they don't, the specific cooldowns that Disc 1 is covering or whoever won't get pushed those alerts properly. There's also a roster mapping drop down here that will include in an assignment sheet that you can use that auto generates based off of the sheet. That's a feature that we'll talk about in another video. Okay, so you've gone through each class and assigned your healers, your tanks, your DPS, etc. to each of these, and now we're going to go back to Valiona's Blackout and start to input the alert. So first, let's talk about count. This box covers the specific number in order that you want this cooldown to flash for that player. So in this case, we see this priest is using Powered Barrier on Blackouts number 1 and Blackout number 5. Because Powered Barrier won't be up for the other ones in between, we do it this way. You can go down to the other boxes and adjust. We see Resto Shaman 1 is using Spirit Link Totem for Blackouts number 2 and 4, and the Arms Warrior is using Rallying Cry for Blackout 3 and 4. Okay, so that's count. We've covered player name, Disc 1 or Arsham 1 and the like, but you can also use the modifier all to flash this cooldown for all the players. Now that doesn't make a ton of sense right now, but remember it in a second. Next, we've got which cooldown. So just select from the drop down which one you'd like to tell the player to use, populating this icon and the TTS that the player hears. Once that's done, we now crucially look at time. Now this is an important one. You use a negative value when you want the count to be 5 seconds before the assignment should happen, so that it counts down from them. But some assignments like Crackle have no baked in cooldown because it happens whenever the boss loses 10% HP, so we'll use a positive value alert which will go out as soon as it starts to cast. Again, we've actually built all of this already for you. You don't have to worry about knowing each specific one if you don't want to. We're just learning how this works now, so if you want to set it up yourself, you can. Okay, so moving on from time, we've got additional text that will include text here in blue if you want to denote anything specific, in addition to what is normally put for whatever reason, and then override TTS. This is used if you want to change from what the assignment will normally say, or if you want to use the custom assignment box in the cooldown dropdown at the top. You can have the TTS say whatever you want it to, like tell the whole raid to spread out or stack or whatever.
Next breath.
This helps a bunch to clear comms. It can keep your raid leader from going prematurely gray like me. Finally, custom name. Use this to adjust this white text at the top and custom icon, which changes the same thing. Just use whatever the icon ID is to change this. You won't use these features much, but they're there if you want them. A good use here is to tell everyone to use personal cooldowns to mitigate damage or pop a health stone. Simple stuff that does really help. Okay, so that's how these cooldowns work. We're done with Blackout. Now we just need to go through whatever else we want to assign to whatever separate boss move, which is no simple feat, but valuable if you've got the time. Or, as I've said, you can just use the template baked into the WeakAura. Now, you've created all of your assignments, everything is set up, you've assembled your raid, and you've zoned in. You'll now want to type !assign sync in chat to push all of that work that you did to everyone else's WeakAura so that they can have their own copy of the assignments and alerts. The WeakAura is designed to automatically sync the raid leader's assignments when anyone enters the raid instance, but the raid leader can use this chat command as a backup to make sure people have it. Note that if you've got a different set of assignments set up, it won't change yours later on, only when you're in this raid. Additionally, if someone has their WeakAura window open and the sync goes through, they won't get that data. This is just a limitation of WeakAuras, something that we can't fix. So yeah, everyone close their windows, the raid leader sends the chat command, easy peasy. All right, that's the assignments sender section. Remember, only the raid leader needs to do this. One last thing here, if you want to see all the assignments that you've got for, let's say, Nefarian, you can type !assigns Nefarian and it will list them all. This works for all the bosses, which is handy to see before you pull in case you miss something. Okay, so that's the raid leader stuff. Let's quickly go over what you as a raider might want to adjust. First, there's this icon notifier heading. Go into the custom options here and you can adjust the TTS volume or the TTS speed. Helpful to adjust if you're finding them too loud or too slow or whatever. Additionally, there's this TTS voice ID box. If you're a non-English speaker using the TTS, we recommend changing this number to 0. Otherwise, leave it at 1. There's a story here, but I'll spare you the details. Additionally, you as a player may want to move where the icon is going to flash on your screen. So highlight the icon notifier and move it to where you want it to go. Finally, each raider also can look into the personal assignments WeakAura and adjust any of their individual cooldowns as they see fit. This is a similar UI as the raid-wide ones, but you can adjust if you want depending on your individual needs. Okay, finally, let's talk the assignments list. This is a really neat feature that shows what cooldowns are coming and will delete the ones you've already passed as the fight goes on, helping the raid know to expect when to use their cooldowns down the line. I wouldn't mess with this too much, just know what's there and move it if you want it to be somewhere else. There are options you can adjust in the custom options, but out of the box, this should work great. And that's it. Like I mentioned, we've got a template for you that you can import for yourself listed in Fojji's Discord, which I've linked below. If you have any questions, there's a bunch of people in his Discord eager to help you, so feel free to ask there. If you have any questions, there's a bunch of people in his Discord eager to help, so feel free to ask there. And that's it for me. Thank you guys. I hope this guide was helpful, and I will catch you in the next one.
Use power word, barrier.